Recording. Hey everybody, this is Sarah from the admissions office at UWL, and I'm here today with Heather Pearson and Megan Bain. They work in the admissions office as well. Megan, her role is to review your applications. So she looks at all of your essays, all of your test scores, all of your transcripts, and then Heather does a similar role for our international students. She does evaluates, all of your application materials and works directly with students as well. So today what we're going to do is talk about how you can write an awesome application essay. This is for anybody who is thinking about college, juniors, sophomores, maybe you're a senior and you still haven't applied. So we'll just kind of run through some of the do's and don'ts. And if you have any questions, you can always comment them on our Facebook page, and we will get back to you on that. So we'll start with Megan. Megan, let's talk about just some of the logistics. What are some of the formatting, things that you like to see, the length, spell check, pro tips, that kind of thing?
Yeah, of course. So in terms of some major do's and don'ts, first off, your essay does not have to be super long. So we just want it long enough to get your point across. So 2 to 3 paragraphs is usually the ideal length we like to see. Another thing, a big major do that you want to make sure that you do is to make sure that you proof it. A suggestion that I've heard time and time again, and I actually did this when I was applying for colleges about 10 years ago, is have somebody else read it for one, and make sure you also read it out loud, because that way you can see if the flow makes sense, if what you're saying actually sounds like an appropriate sentence, all of that kind of stuff. And then you want to make sure that you're also using spell check. So I would suggest either copying and pasting it into a Word document if that's not what you're using right now to type it in, and just make sure that your words are spelled correctly, because that is something we also do look at. And then just another do, I guess, a do and a don't at the same time. Make sure that you remove the name of the school that you had used this essay for previously if you are doing that, although we don't recommend it. Each school kind of has their own different props, although they may be similar. But it's easy to get things confused. And if you are using the same essay, just make sure you change the school name, because that is something that we do notice when we get those applications.
Awesome. Okay. Heather, so you've read probably a million essays, right, in your life?
Mm-hmm.
And so tell us about the things that make the essays really compelling. What draws you in? What makes you want to keep reading a student's essay?
Yeah, I get asked a lot by our students, what should I put in my essay? And the answer is there isn't an answer, because each essay should be unique. So first of all, I ask students just to think about what is unique about you, not what do you think we want to hear, but what is unique about you? What are the experiences that you've had that have shaped who you are today? And that might be, was there a point where you had a challenge or maybe even experienced a failure, and how did that shape you? What did you learn about yourself? One of the things that you want to keep in mind as you're writing your essay is, why is this relevant to the university you're writing it for? So not just that you are sharing an experience, but making those connectors. So for example, what did you learn from it? Did you learn how to become resilient? Did you learn compassion and empathy? Did you learn how to take control of a situation and become a leader? Did you learn how to work with people who are different from you? And all of those things are characteristics that admissions officers want to see as we're reviewing your application, and ultimately those skills that are going to make you a strong student at the university. I also tell students, think about the point that we're ready to make the admission decision. So we've seen facts, we've seen your ACT or your SAT scores, we've seen your GPA, we've seen your class rank. What else do you want us to know about you before we push that button to enter the admission decision? Whatever comes to your mind at that point, that's important, and that's what we want you to put in that application essay.
Awesome. Great advice. Megan, maybe you can speak to a little bit how we do things in the UWL admissions office. We're a little bit unique in that, one, we still require an essay. Some schools do not require that. And maybe you can speak to why we do and how important that is to us when we're evaluating.
Yeah, of course. So at UWL, we do practice a comprehensive review of that application. So we take each piece of that application as a very strong component of it. We want to know as much as we can about you. We don't want to just base our application solely on your grades. Now that is important, but we want to know, as Heather had said before, kind of in talking about what makes your essay compelling, we want to know those things, those failures potentially, how things could have affected your academic performance from home, from work, from a different situation. Those are the things that we really want to know. So we think that that is important for you to have that option and that area to explain yourself, I guess. We do read every single essay that is submitted to our office. We take that as a vital piece of information as part of the application process, and we just want to know as much as we can about you. We don't want to make just a single decision based off of your grades and your ACT score. We know that you're more than that. You are a person. So.
That's great. Yeah. Heather, any other tips or tricks that you want to share for when students are writing their essays? Maybe any mention of like their language usage, how they structure it, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, as I was thinking through this, I know a lot of you who are watching it right now are probably at home, right? You're doing more kind of a homeschool curriculum. And what that means is for some of you, you might find that you have more time available to do things than you might have if you were in traditional school right now. And so one thing I was thinking was this is a great time for you to think about a few meaningful experiences in your life and to just start kind of journaling about them. So write about those experiences, not the way you're going to write about them in your application statement, but just to get kind of that creative energy flowing and to remember those details that might make your essay stand out and maybe different ways to write about it. So maybe write about it from the first person, write about it more as a narrative, maybe experiment with poetry or something like that. Just really start to look at those experiences and remember what made them unique for you. Another thing I was thinking was we talk about how you should be reaching out to other people right now to stay connected. Ask your friends and family and teachers and school counselors as you reach out to them, give me 5 words that you would use to describe me. Because we all have those ideas of who we think we are. We think, I'm the artist, I'm the athlete, I'm the musician. But as you start to get those words, you might find identities that others have for you that you hadn't really thought about. And that might change what your application essay looks like as well. And then if you do have a little bit of time, one thing I was thinking was spend about a half an hour a day going out to one college's site that you think you might apply to and just look at everything you can on that site. Just type in words into the search, look at majors you're interested in, look at the activities, go out to the social media, and then write down your impressions of that school and what you thought made it unique, what really appealed to you. And that way, when you go to write your application essays, like Megan said, you shouldn't use one general essay where you just swap in the names of the schools, but that way you'll know for each school what you want to tell them about you because you'll know more about their culture and their vibe and how what you can bring to them really fits well with them. And then lastly, be clear and concise. Like Megan said, 2 or 3 paragraphs is perfect. Make sure that you're writing professionally. This is not the time for the shorthands you use when you're messaging your friends. This is going to be read by professionals like Megan and like others at the university, and we really expect to see strong writing skills, strong communication skills, and a very professionally written essay.
That's great. We also put a lot of value on creativity, so don't feel like you need to stay within the confines of your general essay structure. We appreciate some of that. We were chatting earlier today about an essay we received that was about Harry Potter, and it was so well written, and it really showed us the students' level of creativity, their ability to write kind of a fiction piece, while also telling us about their life and the other pieces of their academic profile that we couldn't see on the paper. So, be yourself. We love to read what you write. We read everything. So don't feel like, oh, I'm not even going to put the time into this, nobody's going to look at it. These are 2 faces right here that are actually looking at what you write. So think about them as you're practicing. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to the admissions office. We are happy to help you. We're happy to, go over more specific tips and tricks with you if you need it. So, if you have additional questions, you can visit uwlax.edu/admissions and see all the ways that you can connect with us virtually, and we will give you a hand. So thank you, Heather and Megan, for your time today, and please reach out if anybody has any questions. Thanks.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.